Jude King, thanks for a $5 super chat. Boxer or Mambo if firmware is not an issue? My grandpa's getting into FPV and has nothing to transfer into models or settings. I personally prefer Express LRS to Tracer as a control link. So I would take the Boxer. Now, your grandpa may not enjoy the process of binding an Express LRS receiver, which some would call a gigantic pain in the ass. I mean, you could get a Boxer with a 4-in-1 module and use FreeSky receivers. It'd be okay. Mambo is a solid radio, but I would go with the Boxer, personally. If firmware is not an issue, the lack of firmware updates isn't going to really matter. But it just feels silly to buy a radio with a built-in module that you don't intend to use. And it's hard for me to recommend that. It's hard for me to recommend that almost anybody buy into Tracer today. Ooh, that's a hot take. Should we talk about that? That's a hot take. So, who is Tracer the best for? Tracer is 250 hertz. It's a higher frequency, lower latency control link with moderate range, but not great range. Now, there are people out there who will say, what do you mean? Wesley Vardy took Tracer out to 20 plus kilometers, or whatever the number was. Yeah, but he took Express LRS out to, 40 plus kilometers, and it didn't fail safe. Those range tests that people like Wesley Vardy do are ideal conditions. And the reality on the ground is that when you add a few obstacles, it is the effective range and the likelihood of fail-safing Tracer is significantly higher than, almost any of the other control links. That's what I think I see from people I talk to, and my personal experience when I had some Tracer quads. So what is Tracer really good for? Tracer is really good for a racing pilot who doesn't need a lot of range or penetration because they're never flying that far anyway, and wants a simple, reliable, relatively low latency link. By reliable, I mean the hardware that TBS makes is rock solid. It's simple, it's easy to update the firmware, it's relatively easy to manage, and just gets the job done. But as soon as you start wanting to push a little bit of range or penetration, I don't think you should be on Tracer. You should be on Crossfire. You should be on Express LRS maybe, or maybe even Immersion RC Ghost. So your grandpa probably isn't. And the other thing is that a racer is potentially going to have the main reason to stay away from Express LRS would be that it's technically complex and you have to just be a lot more hands-on with it to get good results from it. But a lot of racers are hands-on, and that wouldn't be a problem for them.